Update on the Juan Soto free agency sweepstakes. The Dodgers sign a formerly elite reliever. You won't believe the team that pursued Walker Buehler, and why the Dodgers should or should not trade Gavin Lux. That's coming up on a jam-packed edition of Dodgers Dugout Live.
It's time for Dodger baseball. Welcome to Dodger Stadium.
This is the golden age of Dodger baseball. The Dodgers are building a dynasty.
You guys wanted a parade? We got a parade! The Dodgers punch back and have the championship.
Shohei Ohtani starts the 50-50 club. Mookie Magic. Freeman hits the ball to right field. She is gone. Start the party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
Think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
What is up, Dodgers Nation, and welcome to another episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. Everything you need to know about your boys in blue in less than an hour. My name is Doug McKain, credentialed member of Dodgers Media. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. Now, if you haven't yet, do us a huge favor. Subscribe to the #1 Dodgers YouTube show about the Dodgers, #1 podcast. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit the like button. Write us a review on the podcast, and we'll read it on the show. Definitely go and do that. Of course, every episode of Dodgers Dugout Live starts with a poll question of the show. I asked you guys over on the X, who should be the Dodgers shortstop next season? Right now, 48% of you say Tommy Edman, 40% of you say Willy Adames, 8% say Mookie Betts, and 4% say Gavin Lux. So we'll talk about Gavin Lux in a little bit. But of course, every episode of Dodgers Dugout Live starts with the leadoff.
Leading off, the hottest story in Dodger baseball.
So the hottest story in Dodger baseball is about the #1 free agent this offseason, Juan Soto. Will the Dodgers sign Juan Soto? We don't know that. Are the Dodgers going to be heavily involved down the stretch? We don't know that. But what we do know is that the Juan Soto sweepstakes are taking the next step. Buster Olney reported over the weekend that teams are expected to begin sending offers to Juan Soto's camp this week. Olney also points out that in the process, he has already met with several of the top suitors. He's already met with the Yankees, the Mets, the Blue Jays, the Red Sox, the Dodgers. The Phillies have also been reported to have met with Juan Soto. The Giants, the Rays, the Royals. I always laugh when I hear the Rays and the Royals. That's a good one. But things are moving when it comes to Juan Soto. I do not think we are going to see a decision from Soto's camp maybe in the next, this is going to happen next month. I predict that we're going to find out where Juan Soto is going to sign in December. It's not going to be January, February. It's not going to be later in 2025. The Soto sweepstakes, I think, are going to end at some point in December, possibly before or during the winter meetings, because you've had time to meet with teams. And the most important thing is, if he wants to get paid, there's a team out there that's willing to pay him $50 million more than anyone. And reportedly, that's Stephen Cohen of the New York Mets. Now, the question here you probably have is, will the Dodgers get heavily involved? Will they get into a bidding war for Juan Soto? Well, Jeff Passan has already said that the Dodgers, they're not going to go all in on Juan Soto. They're not going to go to the brink for Juan Soto. They're not going to treat Juan Soto like they treated Shohei Ohtani last offseason. Last offseason, the Dodgers, they wanted Shohei Ohtani, or willing to give him anything to make sure he put on that Dodger blue uniform. It was, do you want money? Do you want deferrals? What do you want from us? We want you, and we've been trying to get you for years and years and years. Yoshinobu Yamamoto was another example of a player where the Dodgers kind of broke their own rules, where the Dodgers went out there and said, no, we aren't going to just go to every single top free agent, offer them front-loaded cash and a front-loaded contract on a short-term high AAV deal, because hey, we want to keep that flexibility later on your contract. No, they broke their rules for Shohei Ohtani. They broke their rules for Yoshinobu Yamamoto. And before last offseason, the Dodgers had never committed a contract for longer than 6 years with this ownership group led by Mark Walters and the Guggenheim Group and Andrew Friedman being the president of baseball operations. So will they do that again this offseason for Juan Soto? I think they'll only do it under one circumstance. And that circumstance is that if they can get Juan Soto to agree to a 10 to 12, 13, 14-year deal, but it's a front-loaded contract like we talked about on this show, where it's $275 million in that first 3 to 4 year window, knowing that he's most likely going to opt out after his third season. Because that was reported last week that Juan Soto's looking for a contract where he can opt out after year 3 or after year 4. And if you're the Dodgers, you look at your CBT situation, Juan Soto would push them into the Cohen threshold, the top tier of the luxury tax in 2025. They sign Juan Soto, you're paying 110% on everything after the CBT and the top tier. So it does that for 2025. But if you look at where the Dodgers are at right now with Juan Soto in that bloated contract, well, you're paying the top tier of the top tier penalty in 2026 and 2027 as well also. So not only would you have to pay the top penalty this season that's coming up in 2025, but also most likely in 2026 and 2027. And from the Dodgers standpoint, I still think under the right circumstances, they would love to have him in Dodger blue just because he's a once-in-a-generation player. We've broken down how good he is. He's this generation's Ted Williams. He hits for power, hits for average. He walks more than he strikes out. But the truth of the matter is it only makes sense is if you could front load the first part of that contract and then stretch it out on the years. And then if he opts in or wants to stay with the Dodgers, you get him at the price that you would have had to give him anyway. But the fact that the Dodgers are already in that tier for the next couple of seasons, it's not about the money, right? It isn't about, we have to pay X amount in penalties, 40, 50, 60, 80 million plus, whatever it may be. They're not concerned about that per player or as a group. For them, it's the more you are a taxpayer, and they've already paid the tax for the last 4 seasons, is you lose draft picks, you lose international bonus pool money. And when that stretches out for a long period of time, the system is kind of designed for you to not have a great farm system, to not have a lot of money to spend on international free agents. So you only break your rules for great players. Juan Soto is certainly an elite player that's worth considering at the right price. Ultimately, my prediction for Juan Soto is he does end up with one of the 2 New York teams. I think right now, when you look at the New York Yankees, I mean, the right fielder last season, he has gotten better defensively, but then you have Aaron Judge in center field. Do you want Aaron Judge to be your center fielder, or do you want him to move to one of the corner outfield spots? And then you look at with the Mets can move Starling Marte to the DH spot, and you put Juan Soto in right field. So I still think that the biggest deal breaker in all of this is the fact that the New York Mets can make history with Juan Soto. They can give him Shohei Ohtani money and get their superstar, because the Mets aren't a team that has a superstar like Juan Soto. You have Francisco Lindor, who is clearly a star, a superstar really at his position, but he's not an all-time great like a Juan Soto is. With Juan Soto, you take pressure off Francisco Lindor. You have your box office marquee player, and Stephen Cohen, he gets to flex that muscle that he has over the rest of the league. This guy is the richest owner in the sport, and he can take full advantage of that. So I ultimately think that the Dodgers are in play because it makes sense for them, because at the very least, it's a dub for the Dodgers if you force the Mets or the Yankees to give him more money, because at some point that contract starts to hurt them later when he starts to decline. So the Dodgers are playing this thing right, but we're going to hear about this in the future. We got a $2 super chat from Glenn. The CBT says, "Hey D-Mac, what is CBT?" That's a competitive balance tax. And I'll do a whole video pretty much in the off season explain this in detail. But basically, there is no salary cap in Major League Baseball. You can spend as much money as you want, but it comes at a price. And the more you spend, the more you're penalized, and the surcharge gets higher. And then you have to forfeit draft picks and international bonus pool money you drafted late in the rounds as well. So there's definitely some consequences to it. But let me know down below in the comment section, what do you think the Dodgers offer should be to Juan Soto? Now, next, we got to get into some news here. The Dodgers, they made a signing that could be a sneaky good signing. That's coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live. What up, Dodgers Nation? D-Mac here to remind you that if you have not yet, be sure to subscribe to the Dodgers Dugout Live podcast. You can find it wherever you get your podcast. So if you want to listen to the show in audio form, when you're driving to Dodger Stadium, when you're driving from Dodger Stadium, when you're commuting to work, wherever it is, you definitely want to lock into the podcast. We're going to start featuring some podcast exclusives, interviews. So definitely, even if you do watch the show daily on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to the Dodgers Dugout Live podcast wherever your podcast. So be sure to do that. It really supports the channel. And as always, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out. Welcome back to Dodgers Dugout Live. By the way, an early episode today, because Antonio is performing. Tony Taters is performing at a wedding in Long Beach. Want to say congratulations to Diana and Ruben Vasquez. They're tying the knot in the LBC. The Dodgers aren't the only ones getting a ring this year. We got Diana and Ruben, their wedding, a Monday wedding in Long Beach. It's awesome. How about Tony Taylor? So what are you going to be playing there, man? I mean, of course, you're a very talented musician, Antonio.
I appreciate that. I'm going to play a little Ave Maria.
Sing it now.
I'm not gonna sing. I'm just
come on.
It's gonna be straight. Ave Maria. But I'm just,
oh my goodness! There you go. We need him to sing the national anthem. I'll throw out the first pitch. You can sing the national anthem for a Dodger game next year.
I'll do it.
And then Noel can catch for me. Yeah. Noel, Noel did some tight stuff too. But Noel, before you get to the next segment, this weekend it was popping in downtown. You had the Shohei Ohtani Look-A-Like contest, and the winner got $17, which is hilarious. I think that he looked more like Shohei Ohtani than Shohei Ohtani looks like Shohei Ohtani.
He does. I mean, the posture, the facial expressions, he fit the description really well. I think me and Tony right away, we saw him in the crowd and we were like, yeah, this guy's probably going to take it. But shout out to Tony Tater. Shout out to my guy, John, of course, rolling with me. We got to meet a lot of cool fans. We got to interview the contestants, the finalists, and it was cool. We heard about the event probably 2 days before it was going down, and we promoted it on our socials. And then a big crowd came, man, and it was really fun. And it was just cool to see everybody come. People were wearing their Ohtani jerseys, their New Balances. They had little decoys with them. And yeah, shout out to Joseph Ma. He was the winner. That $17 probably covered his parking, but it was a good time, man.
Half his parking. Probably covered half his parking. But what I love about it too is that with that, it's like he didn't show up with the uniform, right? He just was a white t-shirt. It didn't have the hat on. He's still, which that's how you can really tell. Like he didn't need the extra props. Like I was telling you, I kind of regret not rolling through with the guy who had the Shohei Ohtani on his face, the mask. That was hilarious. But yeah, I mean, that one exciting event out there. And you said there's gonna be an Anthony Bonda one this week too.
The street is saying there's gonna be an Anthony Bonda Look-A-Like in Echo Park on the 27th. So if that's official, you'll catch us there. If you guys want to go, say what's up to us, meet us. That'd be a good time.
We don't want you to cover it. We want you to enter it. I want to see Noel Sanchez We're going to get you to the tattoo parlor to get you fully inked up and do the Anthony Bonda tat. And I want to see Noel enter the guy. I'll enter the Will Smith one.
Maybe if
I'll enter the Will Smith one.
All right, Doug, maybe if they had a Miguel Vargas look-alike, I could probably answer that one. I don't know about Anthony Bonda.
Okay, look, you know what? I'm going to look tomorrow. I'm going to go get some cheap glasses. Let's put the glasses on him and then we'll see.
I gotta wear a hat too though. Because he wears hats all the time.
Yeah, no, you got to get the Dodger hat. I would just tell, dude, just roll through because he's got the mustache,
the facial
right?
hair, yeah.
You would have to shave the
That's true.
bottom. Hey, so
That's true.
I'm telling you, we're gonna enter Noel, Anthony Bonda. How about Tony?
I gotta tell
Antonio.
you, all the ladies love Anthony Bonda, and whenever I go out on the field with Noel, all the ladies love Noel. So it's gonna be an easy win.
Easy money, man. Easy
Noel.
money. What's Anthony Bonda's number? I think it's.
I'm not too sure.
Isn't it 43?
I think it's 43 actually. Yeah, 43.
Yeah, it's 43.
43.
Dude, it's Monty's old number.
Yeah.
Dodgers Nation.
So you'll get at least $43 and not $17.
I mean, I'll take the 43 for
You'll
Winnie
take that
for sure.
43.
I'm very curious to see how many guys pop out that look, because there's gonna be a lot of guys that look like him there. But if you guys,
He's got the thing too, though. You just got to shorten it a little bit here.
yeah, I got to line it up a little bit. We'll see, man.
We'll have
see.
Antonio shave your beard a little bit down.
Yes, sir.
Who's Antonio gonna enter?
I'm gonna enter as Jack Black, bro.
Jack Black. I like that. I get some big Jack Black vibes from you. But guys, let us know down below. Do you think Noel could win an Anthony Bonda look-alike contest? I know. Let's be honest. I'd be getting $16 for Smitty.
Yeah, facts,
right? I mean, come on now. But by the way, whoever posts this is messed up. When Will Smith has like a bad game, someone posts me in the Dodger uniform saying that it's Will Smith. I see what you're doing right there, guys, and I respect it. But next, we got to do a little housekeeping here, report some signings. The Dodgers have signed Giovanny Gallegos to a minor league contract, and it does include a non-roster invite to spring training. If he makes the team, he'll take home $2.5 million in salaries, and he has a chance to earn an extra $1.5 million in bonuses. So, I mean, a $2.5 million salary, $1.5 million in bonuses. This guy, if you know him well, when he was right, he was one of the best relievers in all of Major League Baseball. And last season, he was injured. He missed almost 7 weeks early in the season with a right shoulder impingement. And even when he was healthy, he wasn't at his best. I mean, the numbers, they weren't good. A .653 ERA, a .465 expected ERA in 21 games last season. He had 21 strikeouts, 10 walks in 20 2/3 innings. And the strikeout rate was lower, 22.3%. He had the highest walk rate of his career at 10.6%. Make no mistake about it, he was not good last season for the Redbirds, and they released him in July. And he ends up with the Twins on a minor league contract late in the summer, and he ended up finishing the season with a .426 ERA in 13 appearances with the AAA St. Paul affiliate of the Twins. 13 games for the Twins, a .426 ERA at the minor league level. So yeah, hasn't been good for quite some time. But if you remember during his peak, I mean, he was lights out. I mean, he was one of the better relievers in baseball. From 2019 to 2022, had a sub-3 ERA, had a sub-3 FIP in 228 1/3 innings, had a 32% strikeout rate, and the walk rate was 6.6%. So you're talking about an above-average strikeout rate, a below-average walk rate, as in a good way. And he was ranked among the top relievers in the sport in the last 4 seasons before his slide. So I look at this as a high upside signing, and you have to remember 2 things. When it comes to relievers, they're volatile. From year to year, you can have a down year, you can bounce back. You look at Blake Trinan's last year with the Oakland Athletics. Everyone thought that Blake Trinan was done. He signs with the Dodgers. They turn his career around, and he's probably going to stay on for another season. He's turned into one of their best relievers. Evan Phillips was discovered by the Dodgers. Alex Vesia and Kyle Hurt were acquired for Dylan Floro. Ryan Brazier was a bust for the Red Sox in 2023. The Dodgers get their hands on him. He turns into one of the best relievers in the sport down the stretch. Chris Martin for the Cubs the year prior to that. He was bad. The Dodgers made him good. How many examples do you need of the Dodgers taking guys that have talent, sprinkling that Dodgers dust on them, getting them in the lab with Dr. Mark Pryor and figuring things out. And the hope is that you can get some value from him, because the Dodgers, they don't want to break the bank on relievers. They don't want to break the bank on bullpen pieces. So you take flyers on guys like this and you hope to get him back on track. And the truth is that the Dodgers, they save money because of how good their organization is. They're able to get value because of the foundation and the infrastructure that they've built here, where guys like Gallegos, yeah, he signed with the Dodgers. A lot of teams would want Gallegos on their roster for a non-roster invite, but he goes to the Dodgers because he sees what they can do. Now, it doesn't always work, right? Alex Reyes is a perfect example. Reyes was on the Cardinals. He couldn't figure things out with the Dodgers health-wise, and unfortunately it didn't work. Noah Syndergaard, they basically treated him like a couch on the side of the road and put free couch on it at the end of his time with the Dodgers because he was awful. So, yeah, Thor was a thud, but doesn't mean it's going to happen to all pitchers that go in this organization. Most of the time, they're able to optimize guys and put them in spots where they can have success. So I like this signing, and I know that Tony Taters likes the signing too. He's a little connection with Austin Barnes.
That's right. They were both in the WBC Team Mexico. Giovanny Gallegos was the one that closed the door with that great comeback victory against Kike Hernandez and Team Puerto Rico. Unfortunately, he did blow the save against Japan. Shohei Ohtani jumped on him. And then I forget, it was like number 55, their third baseman for Japan. He's the one that sealed the deal. And I was all bummed. It was great seeing Shohei running the bases and all that. But I was like, oh, but I'm glad. Gallegos was elite before. And I hope the Dodgers can, do their little magic and bring him back. But shout out Team Mexico forever.
Yeah, no, it's great to give him an opportunity. I mean, that's what you want. You want high upside guys, and you want to figure out bullpen guys and get one good year out of them. And if they're good enough to you want to bring them back, then fine. But if you get one good year out of them, then hey, that's that. I mean, look at guys like Brent Honeywell, who, look, in most cases, I mean, if you non-tender a guy, meaning you're not going to give him a contract, it's a good chance that that guy comes back to your organization in the same type of role that Gallegos has, where it's a non-roster invitee with a chance to make the team. So, yeah, I like this. I like to give it a little let's go Dodgers right there. But another little rumor I get into is it came out that the Oakland A's of all teams were interested in Walker Buehler. And it was a really interesting, detail was that when Mark Kotsay, he was at USC, he was speaking at USC at their Sports Business Association Summit last Thursday, and he said that the team had conversations with Walker Buehler, but Walker Buehler shot down the A's overtures because he didn't want to play in Sacramento, according to the Annenberg media, who was there at the time. So the fact that the A's even pursued him is hilarious. Of course, Walker Buehler does not want to play in a AAA stadium. Of course, Walker Buehler doesn't want to play for the Sacramento A's. Why would he want to sign with the Oakland A's? Doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I mean, the fact that the Oakland A's contacted Walker Buehler trying to sign him is insane. That's like me when I went into Scarlett Johansson's DMs in like 2012. I mean, like, it's not going to happen, right? I mean, why are you even throwing that out there like that? It just doesn't make a ton of sense. And I think the big picture thing here for Walker Buehler, though, is he's going to have suitors. I mean, you saw the rumor last week that we talked about him being pursued by the New York Yankees. I think the end-all update on Walker Buehler is he's going to go out there and see what his market is, see who's interested in him, see what kind of contract offers he can get, and then he's going to get back to the Dodgers and present them with his current situation. I don't think the Dodgers are saying, no, Walker, we want to get this done. Don't talk to other teams. No, they're going to do the thing they always do, give their free agents an opportunity to meet with other teams get a bag if there's a bag, get a better opportunity if there's a better opportunity. And if he wants to be a Dodger again and come back at the right price, that makes the most sense. That's what we typically see with the Dodgers in these situations. And I don't think there's any difference with Walker Buehler. He is certainly going to explore that in a lot of different ways. And I think for the Dodgers, they did not extend him the qualifying offer, just like they didn't do it to Clayton Kershaw a few years ago, out of respect, to maximize his market, to give him an opportunity to see how many teams could be interested in him. So I think at the end of the day, I said it last week, I truly do think that if you can get Walker Buehler back on a 1-year deal, 2-year deal with a player option at $15 million, Walker Buehler could provide as much value in one season as some of the top level free agents last year, this offseason, when they become available. So I still like the idea of bringing Walker Buehler back, and I just don't think that the A's are going to be an option at all whatsoever. We got a super chat here. Francisco Diaz 999 D-Max. Soto would be an amazing ad offensively, but terrible defensively. His defense has always counteracted what he does at the plate. Rather bring back our free agents and sign Adames. So I'll give that a little fire take for sure. A little comment of the show right there. But I mean, I agree with you. I mean, I think that if you can bring back your free agents and sign Adames, I mean, I would add in there, though. I would add a free agent pitcher in there, a Blake Snell, a Corbin Burns, a Max Fried, even with Adames, and then Teoscar Hernandez. Yeah, I certainly would take that over signing Juan Soto all day, every day. We got a $4.99 super chat from Freedom. Hey, guys, why don't you just chill and see what happens? Dodgers will be ready to kick ass and run deep in October. Enjoy Thanksgiving. Chill, Dodgers fans? Never. Come on now. That's not the same sentence. But I do also want to talk about a little bit about Gavin Lux today, because I've seen a lot of people, a lot of fans, a lot of accounts just willing to just give up on Gavin Lux, trade Gavin Lux, include Gavin Lux for Devin Williams, Bo Bichette. Now, that could be a part of the plan. There's no doubt about that. But I still think that Gavin Lux deserves a ton of credit for the year he had last season. I still think that he could help this team for the next couple of seasons. I still think that Gavin Lux could be an all-star one day. That truly still is his ceiling as a player. So we're going to do a little player grade on Gavin Lux for his 2024 season, do a little rewind on Luxy here. Now, he missed all the 2023 season due to that torn ACL. He had a bad injury during spring training and spends the entire offseason getting ready to play shortstop. So entering the 2024 season, the Dodgers gave him the opportunity to be their everyday shortstop. And fortunately, his throws from the left side, they were bouncing. He wasn't making the throws. And unfortunately for him, they moved him off that position and they plugged Mookie Betts in as the everyday shortstop. They moved him to second base. Defensively, he was everything you could have hoped for defensively. I mean, really, he was an additive player. He was an asset with the glove at second base. And he actually hit really well during spring training. A lot of people don't remember this, but he was hitting 300 in spring training and the bat looked good. Unfortunately, he got off to a really slow start to start the year. He hit 182, had a 241 on base, a 208 slug in April. And then he didn't hit his first home run until he hit on the 7th of May against the Marlins of George Soriano. It was his first home run since August 15, 2022. Bottom of the third, 2 outs. It was a 2-run shot. Now, his batting average in May got better. A 247 batting average, a 678 OPS. Not great, had 2 doubles and a home run. Then in June, 237 batting average, had a 691 OPS, hit 3 doubles and a home run. So still was below average OPS wise. But the first half was about him getting confidence in his leg, him getting confidence just being out there, him getting his timing back, him getting the mechanics down with his swing, because the power was not there early. The extra base hits weren't there early, wasn't getting enough hits, wasn't getting on base enough. But a lot of that had to do with him trying to get his feet underneath him, get his legs underneath him. And when he was on Mookie's podcast, he talked about adjusting to life after that injury and how long it took him to get back to speed, not just physically, but mentally early in the season.
Man.
Because after a year off, that's a long time.
Yeah, I would say probably like June I started to feel pretty normal, but like up until that, it was like even running the bases, I was kind of like, it's hard to explain.
Was it a fear of you may re-hurt it?
Yeah,
Okay.
like everything's fine, you feel fine. It's like more like mental hurdles trying to get over it. But yeah, I would say probably like June, July, it started to feel
That's
like
a long time. Like
trusting it.
Yeah.
Because if it was fine, like it wouldn't get sore, it didn't hurt, but like just trusting.
You just
like,
know
it's
because you were
fine.
fine and then you tore it, so it's kind of hard.
Exactly, yeah, and running the bases. So it's like kind of every like change of direction, everything, like it's just learning to trust it again. But it took like probably like 15, 16 months for it to be like, okay, like you're good, like it's fine. And I'm sure like, have you had TJ or anyone? Yeah, like it's anyone that's had surgery can kind of like relate to that. Tommy, like
Yeah, same stuff.
with your ankle, your wrist, all that.
Yeah, it takes a long time mentally to get confidence back after you've had a major injury, after you've had major surgery. I mean, Gavin Lux had a major injury. And also on top of that, he changed his approach at the plate. The biggest difference between Gavin Lux in the first half and the second half was the confidence got better and he felt more comfortable out there. He had more confidence in his knee. And then also he met with his Uncle Augie, during the All-Star break, who's a longtime baseball coach, and they reviewed all of his best swings, all of his best moments during his minor league days, and how aggressive he was early in counts, and he took off after the All-Star break. I mean, Uncle Augie deserves a ring. I truly believe that. Uncle Augie gave him a World Series ring. First game of the second half against the Red Sox, didn't get a hit, but second game, 2 extra base hits, had a home run and a double. It was the first time he had 2 extra base hits in a game since 2021. Then he followed that up with a 3-hit game that included a home run and a double. So the slug was there. He was getting on base. That first series against the Red Sox, something felt different about Gavin Lux, and that proved to be true. Then when Freddie Freeman went back home to take care of his son who was in the hospital, who was ill, the Dodgers, they put Gavin Lux into the 3-hole. And he went 4 for 8 with a home run in that series against the Houston Astros, where he was batting in the 3-hole and Freddie Freeman was out. So he really went from one of the least productive bats in all of Major League Baseball to one of the best hitters in the sport in the second half. I asked Dave Roberts about Gavin Lux, and I remember asking Dave, you've been on a lot of teams. You've managed a lot of players. Is this the biggest turnaround that you've ever seen from one player in the start of a season towards the second half of the season? And he said yes. He said Gavin Lux's in-season turnaround was the biggest turnaround he's seen from a player in his time managing this club. And the numbers prove it. Second half of the season, he hit 304. That was 12th in all of Major League Baseball. His 304 batting average in the second half was better than Shohei Ohtani, Marcell Ozuna, Seiya Suzuki, Justin Turner, Jose Ramirez, Xander Bogaerts, and Brent Rooker. It was just 2 points below Francisco Lindor, who finished second in the MVP voting. He had a 152 weighted runs created plus. So offensively, he was 52% above league average. 100 is league average. He was at 152, 52% above league average after the All-Star break. That was 13th in the sport. After the All-Star break, Gavin Lux posted a higher weighted runs created plus than, wait for it, Teoscar Hernandez, Jorge Soler, Matt Olson, Matt Chapman, Marcell Ozuna, Kyle Schwarber, Manny Machado. He posted a negative F4 in the first half and a 2 F4 in the second half. And he finished with a 1.5 F4 overall for the season. So to go from a negative to a positive, incredible. Now in the postseason, wasn't great. 6 for 34, hit 176, had a 580 OPS, but he did have his moments. Game 1, Dodgers down 3-0 to the Padres. Lux gets a 1-out single. That gave the Dodgers runners on first and second with no outs. A few batters later, Shohei Ohtani hits a 3-run shot with 2 outs to tie it. That was one of the most important home runs for the Dodgers. They could have gotten swept. I still believe that. I'll take it to my grave. If Shohei Ohtani doesn't hit that 3-run home run, I think the Dodgers get swept against the Padres. I truly do believe that. And Gavin Lux was one of the reasons why. Also, he had a 2-run home run off Wandy Peralta in Game 4 of the NLDS. And then he did suffer that hip flexor injury in Game 1 of the NLCS against the Mets. Didn't play in Games 2, 4, and 6 when the Dodgers were facing left-handed pitchers. But in Game 5, with the bases loaded of the World Series, it was Gavin Lux who 3-2 count hit a sac fly of Luke Weaver to tie things up at 6-6. Great at bat by Lux there. You're going up against Luke Weaver, one of the best relievers in the postseason, in a situation where you have to come through, and he kept the ball off the ground. Get a sac fly there, and then Mookie Betts gives the Dodgers the lead with a sac fly a couple batters later. You look at his numbers as a whole, in totality for the 2024 season, he slashed 251, 320, 383, was exactly league average, had a 100 weighted runs created plus. But the fact that he was as bad as he was, literally, he was bottom 5 in the sport. Bottom 5 in the sport in the first half. Just to get to league average required a long stretch of well above average play in the box, and he gave you that. He went on a heater in the second half, ends up hitting 10 home runs, had 50 RBIs, 24 doubles, and 59 runs scored. So I think it was a really good year for Gavin Lux. Now, my game of the year for Lux definitely was against the Red Sox. I mean, that Red Sox, he had 3 hits, a home run, and a double, and it marked the turning point of his season. I think also, I mean, actually, you know what? I'll take that back. The moment for him was the sac fly. I mean, it's crazy to think a sac fly is the moment of your career. That sac fly, I think, was the moment of Gavin Lux's career, because that game is going to be watched by Dodgers fans forever. That 5th inning is going to be a part of baseball history forever. Gavin Lux, that bat he had against Luke Weaver, a great at-bat, tied the game, and he certainly helped the Dodgers win a world championship in 2024. Now, if you look at his contract status, he's in his 2nd year of arbitration. He's projected to get a $2.7 million contract for 2025. I mean, I think it could go above that, a little above $3 million, but it still has 2 more years of team control. The big question about Gavin Lux, though, do you trade him? Do you trade Gavin Lux? Because they've already told us that Mookie Betts is going back into the infield. What they haven't told us is if Mookie's going to go back to playing shortstop. Now, I don't want to see Mookie Betts back at shortstop, because I still believe that what Mookie does at this stage of his career that helps the Dodgers win baseball games the most is get on base, hit for power, hit for average. I mean, he had 39 home runs a couple seasons ago. I want to see Mookie raking at the plate and also playing a defensive position that's not taking a toll on him physically. Look, he already has his 6 Gold Gloves in right field. I think he could be a Gold Glove winning second baseman. Having said that, I mean, talking to Dino Ebel, Dodgers third base coach, one thing Dino Ebel told me throughout the season was, with Mookie, it's not the range. He can get to balls. It's setting his feet and making the throw. So it's not the arm strength either, though. It's not an arm strength too. We know Mookie has a cannon. We know Mookie's got a hose in right, and at short, if they can figure out things mechanically, can he make the throws? That is what prevented him from being an average shortstop. He was a below average shortstop by every metric you look at. But overall, when you factor in him raking, I mean, clearly he was above average as a whole. But I do think that, like Miguel Rojas told us on this show, when you play shortstop every day, the physical demands are so high that it's unrealistic to think that it doesn't bleed into your offense at some point. But Mookie's an all-time great. He's a superstar. And then Gavin Lux, a couple seasons ago, when Corey Seager was out, when he got hit by Ross Detweiler, Who remembers who hit him? And Seager was out. It was Gavin Lux that played shortstop. And he was making the throws then. They weren't great. But if you look at arm strength wise, if you look at StatCast and Baseball Savant, Gavin Lux's arm strength is graded right around where Dansby Swanson is. It's a mental component. And I do think that if you're going to keep him in this organization, he came up as a shortstop. Does he want another opportunity to play shortstop? That's a question that I certainly want to ask Andrew Friedman and Dave Roberts, hopefully when we talk to them pretty soon. Because Willy Adames is a great option. There's going to be teams out there that are willing to sign him and move him to third base, like the Houston Astros have reportedly had talks to them or are high on Willy Adames. Now, I love me some Willy Adames, you know that. But I want Willy Adames after you have the starting pitching situation figured out. After you've decided, did we sign Blake Snell, Corbin Burns, Max Fried, trade for Garrett Crochet? You say Kikuchi has already signed. So the dominoes are starting to fall with the starting pitching market. And Bob Nightingale said this morning that he anticipates that teams are going to be a little more aggressive this season. So I don't think you're going to see a slow market like we saw. But the Angels, they signed Yusei Kikuchi to a 3-year, $63 million deal. So figure out starting pitching, bring back Teoscar Hernandez, and then we'll address the shortstop situation because you do have some options. Gavin Lux, Mookie Betts, Tommy Edman, Miguel Rojas. I do love me some Willy Adames. But coming up next, the 7th inning stretch. I'm going to open this thing up. Going to answer all of your hot Dodger takes, all your tough Dodgers questions. We're going to get that next here on the 7th inning stretch.
The 7th inning stretch.
Mr. Classic, I agree, D-Mac. 2024 was indeed Lux's best season. BT Fouts, Lux played pretty well for a guy that couldn't walk a year before. Yeah, I mean, you put it like that. I don't think people realize just how catastrophic that knee injury was because ACL, MCL, his hamstring in that injury. And Gavin Lux is a player that is totally different when he has confidence. And Gavin Lux with confidence is an everyday player, is a potential all-star player. And I want to see Gavin Lux from a start of a season to the end of a season where he's fully healthy in a role that serves him well. So I'm not ready to just give up Gavin Lux. I mean, Gavin Lux for Devin Williams. Gavin Lux in the Garrett Crochet deal. I mean, I think for the Dodgers, you can give up prospects and you can find other ways to get those deals done. Because, look, let's not forget, the Dodgers have invested a lot in Gavin Lux. They're the ones that rehabbed him. They're the ones that drafted him. They're the ones that turned him into the number one prospect in baseball at one point. And they would keep him not as a favorite to him. They would keep him because they want to reap the benefits of being a part of this whole process. Because you let another team get their hands on Gavin Lux, and you never know. You could regret making that trade, especially for a volatile position. I do think that the Dodgers could be in the market for getting an elite closer. Devin Williams certainly is a great option. Well, we're going to do that at some point. I'm going to give you the top 10 trade candidates for the Dodgers. We're doing top 10 free agents as well this week. But you got to also keep some of this homegrown talent that's under team control for multiple seasons. We got Dancy. Is Adames still in play, Dancy? From everything that we're seeing, everything we're hearing, I mean, Willy Adames is certainly a player that is on the Dodgers list of potential free agents that they could sign. They've been interested in Willy Adames for years, too. Not forget, too, Mookie Betts is really good friends with Willy Adames. He definitely is someone that kind of brings that added benefit of leadership. So that's another thing, too, about this Dodgers team. I mean, look at the character guys that they have in this group. You got Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, and Shohei Ohtani, Will Smith. You got a lot of tough-nosed Tommy Edman, a lot of tough-nosed, hard-nosed Dodgers players. They're not going to just bring anyone into this group. Martin Troop, does Jason Hayward and Miguel Vargas get World Series rings? Did they have enough tenure in the season to get? Absolutely. You better best believe it that Jason Hayward and Miguel Vargas will be getting their World Series rings. We got Mike Lopez. You know what? How about we'll do a list of everyone who gets a ring tomorrow if you guys want. That could be fun. Mike Lopez, would you trade Lux plus prospects for 1 year of Devin Williams? Mike Lopez, it's a really good question. I think it depends. So the answer to that is yes, if you have your shortstop situation figured out and Mookie Betts is your second baseman, because where else does Gavin Lux play? They're not going to throw him back in the outfield. They tried that a couple years ago. It's not going to be your third baseman. So if Mookie's made it clear, if the organization is clear that Mookie's only option is second base, then I would say yes. If they want to give Mookie another opportunity to play shortstop and you need a second baseman, well, Gavin Lux is certainly a player that has proven during his high peaks last season that he's worth keeping around. But Devin Williams is a lights out closer. But look at this Dodgers team. They found a way to get it done on the pitching side with 3 starters and a bullpen that didn't even have Evan Phillips in the World Series. So this whole idea that you need this lockdown superstar closer to win a World Series, it's just not true. I mean, I would like to have Devin Williams, but only if you have your keystone combination figured out, and we need to know exactly what their plan is for Mookie Betts. But the Brewers and the Dodgers, they've gotten deals done. They've found a way to kind of help each other out every now and then. I mean, I think that they're also teams that are competing for the same thing in the National League. I mean, the Brewers really are a surprise team, but of course there is the connection that Gavin Lux has with the state, right? I mean, he's from Kenosha, Wisconsin. It'd be a little homecoming. You could sell that. You could sell that if you are the Brewers to your fan base, the excitement of bringing Gavin Lux there. And they actually had a Gavin Lux Day on November 23rd. Kenosha County, Wisconsin, they're having Gavin Lux Day every single year. So shout out to Gavin Lux, man. You have November 23rd now, every single year in Kenosha, Wisconsin is Gavin Lux Day. So that's pretty cool. We got to Jonathan Ramirez. Can Lux play third base or first base? Thinking about the future here. I don't see him as a first baseman. Of course, you have Freddie Freeman locking up that position for the next 3 seasons. And I think you got to use first base for some power bat options there. So I don't see that. Third base, you could certainly play third base. I mean, you can worry about the throw a little bit, but I think that shortstop and second base first, and shortstop is another option for him if they want to go that route again. City Lady LA, any news about Teo? He's a perfect Dodger. Well, hey, if you watched Thursday's episode with Jose Mota, he said that he had spoken to Teoscar Hernandez recently, and he got the indication that he still wanted to be a Dodger. And that's going to come down to him and his agent, and other teams are going to be available. If I was Teoscar Hernandez, I wouldn't sign until Juan Soto signs. If you're trying to earn the most money, the Yankees could go after Teo. That'd be a great pickup for them. As Noel pointed out today before the show, it'd be kind of weird to see him without the beard. You'd have to shave the beard.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that alone might set him away. No, I'm just kidding, but it's all about fit and money. I agree with you, Doug. I think he should wait till Judge signs to really just be smart with his finances and, you know, teams that are after him. But that Jose Mota interview did make me a little happy, just hearing that he still wants to be a Dodger, like according to their conversation. So, man, you know, it's going to be a crazy next like 2 or 3 weeks. Because
the magic is in the beard for sure. And you wonder, I mean, if he gets off to a slow start and no beard, I mean, yeah, you look at twos. I mean, the Yankees, I just think that when you see what they did with Phil Bickford, and they absolutely massacred Phil Bickford. What they did to Phil Bickford, I mean, he went from Spicoli from Fast Times at Ridgemont High to like Spicoli's principal or something at Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I mean, what do you think about that? I mean, would you shave your beard if you went for the Yankees Nation podcast?
Hell no, I would never even apply, bro.
Yes, sir. What's up?
If the Dodgers re-sign Teo to the contract that you've been projecting, will you grow out your beard for a little bit?
Yeah. We need to see D-Mac with the beard.
Man,
what would it take? What would it take?
The best I could do is I'll do a fake one. You can like buy me a fake beard and I'll wear it on the show, because it would probably take 10 years for me to get it to Teo's level. Maybe even that. My beard,
just a slight beard.
I'll do it. I'll give it a week, man. I'll give it a week. But like I'm telling you, when my beard starts growing out, it gets kind of patchy, and there's like, I get a blonde hair, then I get a brown hair, then I get a red hair, and it looks crazy. It looks insane. I don't know, but let me know down below in the comments. Like, what are you guys willing to do? I'll grow it out though. I'll wear the fake tail beard at least for a couple of shows. What will you guys do if the Dodgers re-sign Teoscar Hernandez? Martin Troop, Freeman will retire a Dodger. How many seasons do you think Freddie has left? There's 3 years left on his contract, but I mean, I always call him baseball's version of fine wine. I mean, he gets better with age. Depends on how long he wants to play. Depends on how much of a lock that Hall of Fame is. I think at this point, he's a Hall of Famer. I truly do believe that. He's just kind of padding to that legacy. I think he has 5-6 years left. I truly do. It just depends on how long he wants to play. Does he want to be a Justin Turner? He kind of holds on, then kind of has a little bit of a reduced role. Once he kind of starts to slow down, would he be better as a DH later? That's going to be a part of the equation. But, I mean, Freddie is so committed to his routine. Physically, he's lighter now than he was with the Braves. Diet's better now than it was with the Braves. So he's taking care of himself. So there's no reason why Freddie Freeman can't have another 3 all-star seasons and then a couple quality years after that. We got Keith Potter. I, too, went into Scarlett's DMs. I can't believe did I really say that? Jeez. It's one of those things. Obviously, I was just kidding. I mean, I mailed something to her. It was like paper. No, it's fine. I'm just kidding. Yeah. I went to her house. No, it's fine. But NS, Noel should grow a Kopech beard.
I don't know, man. I grew my beard out a little bit last year. I kind of was on my Antonio vibes, like cleaned it up, tapered beard. But I don't know. I kind of
when Antonio shaved his beard, that was our least viewed show, and that was our most disliked show in Dodgers Dugout Live history. You know that, Antonio? I mean,
the ratings were tanking.
Why did you shave your beard again?
Oh my God. I went on a first date with my girlfriend now. Shout out Melissa. See you later tonight at the wedding. But I was trimming my beard and I just messed it up and I was like, oh no, and I just had to do it.
Sometimes, yeah, Doug, when you grow out your beard, you're going to know. Sometimes when you're cleaning it up, you mess up and you just got to take it all off.
Interesting stuff, man. Oh, we got Tayo. Judge gets a ring for dropping the ball. There you go. That's a nice little finishing for you. MG re-sign Walker Buehler to a 1-year prove-it deal. Sign Max Fried 4 years, 2-year club option. Sign Kike 2 years. Sign Teo 4 years with a club option after 3. Sign Blake Snell 6 years, $178 million back to back. I like the specifics there. That's high side for Blake Snell, but I'll take that. 6 years, I mean, he'd be in Zach Greinke territory for a guy getting 6 years at that age, at the age 32. I'd try to get him for 5. But Bill Grandone, whoa. As I remember, we gave away Corey Seager because of his fielding issues, thinking that Lux would be a better fit. Well, Lux has come up with some clutch hits at times, but he is not Seager gone. I mean, Francisco Lindor is not Corey Seager at the plate, right? I mean, Corey Seager is a special player. I'm not saying that you have to keep Gavin Lux. I would trade Gavin Lux under the circumstance that you have your shortstop and second base situation figured out. And to me, it's not as easy as, you move Tommy Edman to shortstop. I think Tommy Edman needs to maintain that versatility and he needs to be their center fielder. So that's where I'm at with that. I mean, some of the best trades are the ones you don't make. And if you're the Dodgers, you're kind of selling Lux on a low too, because even though teams saw what he did after the All-Star break, they can come and say, look, he hasn't done it for a full season. So there's that as well. And you can't have an all-star at every single position. You can't have a $30 million player at every single position. You need some of this homegrown talent to sustain a run. Nando, 390 Dodgers, been hopeful on Gavin Lux for like 8 years. Time to move on. I mean, look, what you're saying is true. This is not some spin job on Gavin Lux. He has dealt with injuries. Even when he was in there, he hasn't performed at an all-star level. But a couple of seasons ago, he was almost a 3-WAR player before he got injured. So he has provided value. He's been an above-average player as far as his overall value. Let's not forget that. NS Soto wants 3 rings with the Dodgers before he goes to free agency again. I mean, I'm sure he wants to win. I think it's tough though. I mean, when your manager, when your agent is Scott Boras, I mean, he turned down a 15-year, $440 million contract extension from the Nationals a few years back. And I'm not saying that Soto doesn't want to win, but I do think it's a little different when you have one and he has one championship. And players like Juan Soto, they're so good in the way they're wired is he'll think that he can get the Mets a World Series championship. I mean, as good as the Dodgers are, and I hope they do have a dynasty, hope they go on like a Patriots run, right? I mean, where they're just going and winning tons of World Series, Showtime Lakers run from the 80s, go Kobe Shaq three-peat run from the 2000s. Hell, give me a Kobe Powell back-to-back. I'll be happy with that. But truth is, in Major League Baseball, you haven't had a repeat champion in the National League since the 70s. You haven't had a repeat champion in the sport since the 2000 Yankees. So, I mean, Juan Soto can't be thinking, oh, the Dodgers are going to win every single World Series for the next 3 years. I have to beat them, right? I mean, his mindset is, oh, I'm going to go to a situation with a owner with deep pockets like the Mets, like the Yankees, and they're going to put me on a contender, and I can be a part of the reason why. We need Ha-Seong Kim. Ha-Seong Kim is definitely an option for sure. We talked about it a couple weeks ago. Martin, and by the way, he's on my list of top 10 free agents as an honorable mention. But Martin Shroop, the Dodgers are on the brink of a dynasty, and Soto can be a part of that at the right price. There you go. I mean, that's the key qualifier, at the right price. Craig Osterberg, James Harden beard for D-Mac. What's up, Craig Osterberg? My man. Always respect Craig Osterberg. It can be, doesn't matter what time we go on, right? 10 a.m., 10 p.m., 1 p.m., 1 a.m., Craig Osterberg's going to be locked in with us. Alfonso Lucio, I've seen enough of Gavin Lux. That's why. That's just me. I say he can help the Brewers more than the Dodgers. That's an interesting take. I like that take just because you wonder what it's like for a player like Gavin Lux. Someone that was a top prospect that clearly has a ton of talent, but you're on the Dodgers, a team that has all the pressure in the world, a team that is perennially World Series or bust. What if he's in a more comfortable situation where you can just go out there and kind of fail for longer stretches just to kind of fail his way to success? It makes you wonder, will the Brewers be a more comfortable situation? I still think, though, that Gavin Lux is kind of built for this team. I mean, World Series got a sac fly in a big spot, okay? And you got a home run the NLDS. I mean, he was the youngest guy ever to hit a postseason home run for the Dodgers back in 2019. Here was Gavin Lux on Mookie's podcast talking about the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, it was like just compete mode. Like, it doesn't matter how it gets done. Like, it's just got to get done, whatever it is. You got to get on base for Freddie, yourself, Muntz. Like, Shohei is like, I don't care how I get on base, if it's a blooper or a walk.
So you hear him right there. He doesn't care how he gets on base. He just wants to help this team any way he can. For another organization, you might think, no, I want to be an all-star. I want to be a star. I want to be that guy. He's got high aspirations. He has high goals, but he kind of knows where he fits in to this mix of the Dodgers. But that's going to do it for this episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. If you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to the Dodgers Nation post-game show. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell.